okay.
I'm pretty sure it's on now.
It's okay. It's a blow up.
Fuck you, bitch. Hey, Rip, did you see that RPG video on YouTube? Some guy made an RPG of you fighting against me.
Dude, wait, is the stream on? Because I can't say something.
It is.
Okay, then yes, I did see it.
What? What does that mean?
Nothing, dude. It's going back to the conversations we had earlier tonight. Which,
Anyway, so you did see that, right?
yeah, of course.
I thought it was
dude.
pretty funny.
Who made it?
I like the flower buff.
Penis and the gun.
Ins and the gun.
Wait, so is it like a long game or is it just like a little battle?
YouTube video.
It's pretty long. The video is long, but the jokes in it are kind of funny.
I actually haven't watched it like completely beginning to end. I just skipped to the end.
You win!
Yeah, that's
Such
why I skipped.
bullshit! That's such bullshit! You know you can't stop the flower buff?
Oh, stop.
No way.
Sounds like you got owned.
Yeah, sounds like you got owned
Whatever, fuck you.
by my bone.
By your phone?
I'm gonna try the fade out thing.
Wait, hold on. What song are you playing?
Oh.
That was pretty cool. I like that.
Is that Contra?
Yeah, Contra.
Yeah.
The waterfall stage.
That's probably the best music you've ever had on your show.
I really like the Contra soundtrack, and I really like the mini boss, the second.
Dude, your Twitch thing says TTT2 on it, man. You didn't even say that it's like ATP Live and shit.
Whoa.
You never changes it, dude. There was one time where he was playing Dark Souls 2, and he was like ATP Live featuring Bronson.
I don't know. I always forget to do that shit. Anyway, what's up, Internet? How's everybody doing? It's Thursday, 8 p.m. We're here. Not too late this time. My name's Eris. You guys are watching ATP Live. I'm joined...
Hi, I'm Rip. And I'm doing good.
And I'm doing good?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rip, and I'm doing good. Hey, what's
Yeah.
up, Rip? How about you, Ricky? You doing good?
I'm doing okay. I finally got my dual-modded stick. I'm happy.
Yeah, you were being a little bitch about that stick before we started, but now you're...
Sounds like you're being a bitch about it,
You want to
dude.
go, dude? You want to go?
Oh,
I
okay.
challenged
Let me-
you to a
don't-
dancing competition at Wednesday Night Fights, and you
don't make
pussed
me-
out.
don't-
Really?
don't make me
Yeah,
bring up
dude,
the-
I was
bring up the
already
thing.
in the
Wow.
circle. Look, there was a circle, and I was already dancing. And he just pussed out.
What do you mean you pussed out? You didn't even dance.
I was dancing. Everyone was like, "Oh, Eris is dancing."
No one said
People
Eris was
started
dancing.
getting hype and throwing money at me and shit. That's how it happened.
What? Damn, I just realized I haven't had dinner yet.
Big dinner.
Any dinner.
I've already scheduled an appointment with Church's Chicken. I don't have school anymore, so I don't have to worry about having mud butt in class the next day. So Spicy Churches is coming for big dinner. Anyway, this week had some pretty interesting stuff go down. E3 was this week. I didn't get to go, but Rip, you went all 3 days, right?
Yeah. And I'm tired.
Yeah, I bet. And that is a really tiring event. I've gone a few times, and downtown LA, just the place it's at is already like, it's like the Eliminator getting through all the parking and traffic and stuff. But lots of stuff, tons of stuff was announced. But something that wasn't announced was anything about Tekken, right?
Right.
I mean, okay, you tell me, did Namco even have a booth there?
They didn't have a booth on the show floors. They had like a Namco mobile little tiny thing, but then you wanted to see Rise of Incarnates and stuff, you had to go upstairs to the meeting room. So basically, it's not where all the foot traffic is at all. And so basically, again, not pretty much minimal presence, similar to last year.
Interesting. I wonder what the deal is with that. I mean, did you get any insight? Did you talk to anyone or
No,
figure out what to
I
do?
didn't even know that Namco was upstairs. Like I walked around the bottom floors, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until today actually that I found out that they were even there and the Rise of Incarnates was there. Otherwise, I would have went and checked that out and seeing if they added new characters or whatever yet. So actually, I have no idea what they did there because it wasn't the place that was in the normal path.
So now we know E3 passed. They didn't announce anything Tekken related or Soul Calibur related. They didn't announce any Virtua Fighter shit either, as far as I know. So what I'm thinking is, when is the news coming? And I've seen tweets, I've seen lots of stuff from Harada, and he mentioned other events in the near future. You think Evo is going to be where they're going to do their announcing?
I mean, there's two options that we've always been looking at. Either it's going to be a Tekken 7 or it's going to be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter, right? And my thought process was, if it's Tekken 7, or even if it's Tekken Cross Street Fighter, you announce it at at E3. you know, because that's where all the media is at.
Right.
But if you don't announce it at Evo at E3, damn, I keep mixing this
Get
up.
it together.
If you do not announce anything at E3, and you do make an announcement at Evo, then in my opinion, that's most likely going to mean that it's Tekken Cross Street Fighter, because Evo is primarily a Street Fighter place. You know what I mean? So if there is an announcement that is going to be at Evo, I'm putting my money on Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Not Tekken.
You know, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff, and someone told me that he. What happened? What the hell was that? Rip looks super scared. What happened? Is that a spider or a bug or something? Look at his face.
He's not even saying anything. What just happened?
It's not anywhere. I smashed it, but there's nothing left.
Damn, he just exploded?
Dude, it's behind you.
No, I'm not gonna look.
That's so gross, man. What do you got over there? Roaches?
No, I don't even know what it was. It was like a little fly thing or something.
Gross.
But it was like not a fly size. It was like tiny.
Would you get over it, man? Keep your eye on the ball here, for Christ's sake.
If it was like,
Keep
you
your
know,
balls
just
on the
guts,
prize,
I would.
dude.
If it was just like guts, I would have been all right. But now I don't know where it's at, and I feel like it's gonna like come back for revenge in a second. You know, you got to be careful with these ones.
Yeah, sure you do. What the fuck were we even talking about?
I wasn't paying
Evo,
attention.
and how
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's not a Street Fighter.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I have a feeling based on what I've been hearing about Street Fighter Cross Tekken that they don't really want to fuck with it. I'm sorry, Tekken Cross Street Fighter. I have a feeling that they don't even want to mess with it. Like everything that they're saying about it seems really like, let's not talk about that right now. You know, like it's just like they don't want to talk about it right now. I read an article, someone linked to me that they were saying they were considering a name change. And
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
you didn't see that? I think
No, I didn't see that.
I wish I had it pulled up somewhere, but it was a long tweet, like you know those longer tweet things, from Harada answering someone saying that I don't know, I don't remember the details, but I heard that they're considering a name change, and that was the only Tekken related news that was at E3.
But even if it went with the name change on it, that still means it's going to be the game that we thought was Tekken Cross Street Fighter, except they're rebranding it, right? So it's still going to be Street Fighter characters in it, most likely.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what
of
a name
course.
change would imply, right?
Yeah,
So
of
still,
course.
it's a game that we're expecting just a different name. Okay.
But my only point here is that it almost feels like they don't want to even do anything yet. Like nothing's ready. You know, nothing is even close to being ready. And I do recall him saying that 2014, nothing was going to happen for sure, right?
Right. He said something like that, I remember.
Yeah, so I mean, chances are we're not going to see another Tekken game this year, and probably for I don't even know how long, because especially if it's not going to be Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it's going to be an arcade game, so we're not going to be really seeing the console version in forever. So I don't know.
That was the worst thing to me. And I was just thinking it'd be like, oh, like it'll be like Evo or something like that. And we're now announcing Tekken 7 Get Hype, hitting Japan arcades next month, and you'll get it on console in 2016. It's like,
Nah, I don't know. I still would be hype. I still would be super
Nah.
hype.
I mean, I would be at the moment until they tell me when I get to play it, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's weird now because arcades are kind of like whatever, they're gone, right? So back when Tekken 6 was launched, we were like, oh, we can't wait till Super gets it right away.
Yeah.
And then Tekken Tag 2 was launched, and we were like, oh, Super should get it right away. You know, it was like we were still excited about the possibility. But now it's like, oh, Super's not going to get it, so... Now it's like we're a different story. Even in SoCal, back in the day, we were like so lucky here in SoCal.
Yeah.
We used to get everything, but now that the arcades have kind of dwindled and it's all consoles now, it's kind of weird. This is gonna be the first Tekken launch that we really have to just sit with our thumbs up our ass and wait and watch the videos and stuff. So I don't know. You're right. I guess that would be kind of lame if they do.
It's not even just Tekken though. I mean, it's like round one can't even get their hands on like any of the new games, like because it's everything has to be based in Japan through like the internet things and all that shit. Like the new Guilty Gear is out in Japan, but no one can play it here because
Same thing.
round one would get it,
pass.
but they can't get it.
Yeah, I heard that. Round one is a local arcade that we have here, and they've opened a few of them around. But it's like one of those big bowling alley, Chuck E. Cheese types of places. But they're a Japan-based company, and they do have Tekken Tag 2 with Banner Pass and everything working. And they have said they're like endless pockets. They have the deepest pockets. So they've said that they are willing to buy it, but they just can't. So that's kind of like, at this point, it's almost like Japanese arcade developers are like, all right, arcades are on their way out. We're not going to even bother allowing international arcades to be connected to the servers. So, I mean, what does this mean? Does this mean this is like the last generation of arcades? I mean, it would have to be a huge home run. Whatever they figure out, maybe they'll integrate a crane game or something. But whatever the new idea is, if it's not a home run, I really cannot see another game after this next one being released on arcades. Do we all agree on that?
I think so. I mean, I feel like Namco's going to force arcade anyway, though.
You think so? They're just going to push it anyway?
Yeah, like I think even if they release a console, like they would push it into the arcade anyway, because there still are arcades out there, you know.
That's true.
And they are in the arcade business.
What is that noise?
I hear it too. It's gotta be Rick.
Oh, it's my dad.
Oh, he's grinding some. What does he do? Woodworking?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with the future of arcades, and it's odd because I always play online Tekken Tag 2 now, and it's almost like I feel totally like everyone else did back before. Like I don't even care that much about the arcade. I care more about when I'm gonna get it, when it's gonna come out on console, and when everyone else is gonna get to play it. So I don't know. Evo, we'll see what they're gonna announce, but I have a feeling that since they're putting a pop bonus at Evo, and since it's something that's big on their radar now, there is a good chance that there will be a presence there. And you never know. What if they have like playable stations again of a new game? Who knows? Maybe they'll just be like, lately Namco has been kind of that way. They've been like, boom, this game's out. Boom, here's a beta. Boom, check this out. So maybe they'll do that. You never know. Evo could end up being like crazy, like in terms of Tekken.
Yeah, and along that same kind of path, like at E3 this year, before what happened, people were saying like why don't they have like demos like come out the day of E3 so that you can like see the presentation and play the demo? And EA did that with Battlefield Hardline. It's like there's literally like hey, check out this Battlefield Hardline dope ass trailer, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, beta available now. We're like, what?
Exactly.
The servers went down and everything went down. It was crazy. So I mean, it's possible. I think it's a good way of doing. I wouldn't say business, but I like that direction basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
You just like not even allowing people to anticipate something; it's just already there.
It's like people are used to like, oh yeah, whatever. There's gonna be a trailer, and then I'll have to wait 8 years to play this shit. And now it's just like boom, you ready for it? You ready for it? Here it is.
You better be. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, for hypeness, I definitely agree. As soon as they announce the trailer, if by the end of the trailer they're like, download it now. That's pretty tight. That's what I would love to see with all the other games I saw at E3. That shit was crazy. So yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. This is something that a marketing expert in June or someone like that can figure out.
Yes.
But other stuff. Okay, so there's no Tekken at E3. That's cool. Right. It's not like a huge heartbreak for me. It just means that it's not ready. They're baking a loaf of bread. We gotta wait.
Yeah. Oh, and like you said, Namco with $5,000 pot at Evo. That's like really unusual considering last year they didn't. And this is the second year of Evo, so usually that's when the pot bonuses drop out. So the fact that they're doing that, I mean, I know Markman went over there and sweet talked him, etc. to make this happen, right? But I still think that you're right. I think that it's going to be more than just now Tekken's at Evo and it's got a pot bonus. I think there's got to be something more to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Eris, did you never update your title?
No, I didn't. Should I?
Tekken Tag 2, bro. Yeah, you should.
I mean, just say it, man.
All right, I will. Here, you guys say stuff while I do that.
Ricky, take over.
Hey, tell us about your stick and how you got it and what it is.
What?
My stick that you were just working on. A lot of people would be interested in that.
Oh, I got a PCB called the PS360 Plus. It's a PCB that can connect to both Xbox and PS3, as well as Xbox One and maybe PS4 in the future. So I just wired it up into a MLG stick that I had. That the PCB in that one went out, so it was a good time to put this one in, and it works. So I'm thinking I might use a stick for Evo if I enter Street Fighter 4 or something.
And so that's a dual modded stick.
Yeah, you guys handle it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty easy too.
What does the PCB cost?
$60.
And you get it from like Arcade Shock or something? Focus Attack?
Arcade Shock, Focus Attack. It's Pretty much anywhere.
You got it from
on
all of them?
Yeah, every single one. I ordered one from each.
Cool.
Glued it together.
Did that
They're all
work?
sponsors of the show now.
Did the name get updated?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
cool. Finally. All right, anyway, I wasn't listening to what you guys just said, but...
It was useless. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching the live coverage of all the E3 stuff, and the first observation I made was, okay, there's some cool games. There was one called The Order 19-something or 18-something that I thought looked cool. There was another game by the developer of Resident Evil 4 that looked a lot like Resident Evil. It's like a survival horror game, and that looked pretty cool. But then the more I started watching these games, like the new Assassin's Creed and the new whatever, all of the new games, right? I started to feel like they all started to mesh together, and I couldn't even tell which was which. And I'm thinking, why is this happening, right? It's because the next generation and all the technology has advanced so much that I feel like all the games are striving to look real. And they all look the same. There is no like difference in anything. They all look so similar. One guy's wearing a mustache, the other guy's wearing a hat. It just seems like the next era of next-gen games are all really going to start to look the same for a while until they abandon that direction and realize it. I think that's going to be a serious flaw in a lot of games coming out in this next-gen season. I don't know if everyone else agrees with me, but...
I disagree.
You do? Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say.
There's a game, I really wish I could remember it right now. Sunset Overdrive, which is a totally like cartoony style, but it still looks really next-gen, and the gameplay is really crazy. It's like really over the top. There's that game where like you do like stupid stunts where you like launch a guy and some shit on PS3. I forgot what it was called, but it looks similar to that art style, and I think that's just an art style decision. And I think usually when, or at least as the console generations have gotten like harder and harder to develop games for, I feel like people are sticking more to specific engines. You know, so like they like everyone licenses Unreal Engine or this engine, you know what I mean, like, or Crytek engine. And I feel like because of that, there's fewer and fewer choices for engines, and people are just using the same one. So that in turn makes games look more similar than they used to.
Well, I don't even necessarily mean I do mean in-game gameplay, but I don't necessarily mean the feel of it. I mean the art direction of it. Like,
oh, right.
They look
like,
so
like
similar.
Remember Gears of War? Gears of War's lighting was like, I don't know how to describe it, but it looked like Unreal Tournament. I mean, I don't know. It was like bright white, like overly shiny stuff. Like that kind of a look was on everything because that's how their lighting system worked. You know. So I mean, like engine does play a part in that kind of thing. But yeah, you are right. A lot of them are taking the same artistic direction as well as with that engine technology. You know what I mean? Like somebody in the chat just mentioned Uncharted 4, and Uncharted 4 looks ridiculous still. You know,
I didn't even get to see that one. That's the one trailer I didn't see.
It's super short. It's just like you basically see him lying on the puddle of water talking to some dude or some shit, and like he stands up and walks, and that's it. But it looks, the detail of it looks ridiculous. You know, it's not CGI, but so you can tell it's kind of like in game, but it's just on another level. And the art style of that isn't like Assassin's Creed. You know, so.
Well, what I meant by that is, okay, so I was watching Assassin's Creed, and he's going to assassinate some guy. So it shows the guy that he's going to assassinate from up close. You could see his face, right? And then I watched another game that was like, let's say another game, right? That guy is in the other game, for sure. That same guy. I mean, it looks just like him, except he's wearing a wig. And then you watch another game, like I watched Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, right? That looks cool too, but I feel like all of the facial expressions and the facial structures of the characters in these games are like interchangeable because the games themselves are all striving for this ultra realism that they're going to reach this point where it's so close to real. It looks like the one with Kevin Spacey. There's a game coming out. I think it's the Call of Duty. It has Kevin Spacey's face in it. I mean, like, yeah, we're reaching the point where we can make that shit look just like Kevin Spacey. I mean, it looks like him. Hey, what's up, man? He's in my game, right? I think that they're going to realize that that's kind of going to get boring. Every game's going to look really similar, and I don't know. I just feel as though that is something that they're going to have to figure out what to do about because the technology's advanced so much. It's like, they all look the same. To me, I am excited about a lot of them. There's another Dark Souls 2 ripoff that's coming out that looks like a pretty good ripoff, so I'm excited about that. I don't know what it's called.
Bloodborne?
No, that's actually like it's made by, I think his name is Miyazaki or something, the creator.
Software, right?
Yeah, from Soft. That's
Um,
legit.
The
But
one you're talking about is the Namco one, right? It has an L or something in its beginning. I can't remember.
there are so many games and so many bad titles. I mean, how am I supposed to remember these names? Nothing was like, Bloodborne I remember because everyone's calling it blood porn. So okay, that's not the name's fault. I guess it is. But I feel like another thing is these names of these games are really hard to remember for me. But you're right, that Battlefield game they announced, that looks like really cool. Really
Or just
fun.
like Fallen, is that the game?
Maybe.
The Fallen. I think that's a Namco Dark Souls kind of game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one looked cool. If that's the one that I saw, it looked pretty cool. It looked like a really good ripoff, if it's going to be a ripoff.
So it was ripped off because it was made by the same guy?
No, Bloodborne.
No, I'm not
That's
talking.
not a ripoff.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait, so Bloodborne's made by the same guy that made Dark Souls.
Demon Souls.
Oh, Demon Souls, okay.
Yeah, so people are excited about that because he's kind of... Demon Souls was the really brutal one. It was the one where it was like, there was no hand-holding, no training wheels. You're fucked. You bought this, you better get ready to trade it in, amigo. So that's why I think everyone's really excited about that game because, the next two games progressively got slightly easier and then even more easier with Dark Souls 2. So people kind of want to get their bungholes ruined with like a really hardcore game. So I don't know. I'm pretty amped up about that. It's like way in the future. I personally am more amped up about the Dark Souls 2 DLC that's coming out, the Rise of the Sonken King or whatever the hell it's called. But
Sunken King?
it's actually sunken, but it reminded
Okay.
me so much of that clown that I decided that I'd call it that. But I'm amped up about that because it's coming out right after Evo. So it's like, oh, you need a break after Evo? Oh, damn, Strong Styles then, too.
Yep.
Ah, fuck. Well, that's
you're not
okay.
gonna win tournaments.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just play it anyway. So yeah, I'm excited about all that Dark Souls news and the Bloodborne news. That was really cool. But that's all side stuff. I really love fighting games, and fighting games are what I'm all about. And to me, even though Smash Brothers is a big deal, I know I'm not gonna play it. It's really not my style. To me, Mortal Kombat really took the E3 show for me because not only did I play Mortal Kombat 9 and I was looking forward to the next Mortal Kombat anyway, but it actually looks really like new. I think like it looks really weird, and there are new things, stamina gauges, interactables. There is like a groove select idea that alters your characters. So that's what I first saw on day one. It later turns out that Rip, this piece of shit, was able to get his hands on the game itself and play the game. Now, though I do understand that Rip's Mortal Kombat skills are questionable. They're questionable. But I want to hear...
I tied you, dude.
What does that mean?
At Revelations, we both got 5th place.
That's true.
Just
You're
as good
right.
as you.
But
Go
the method in which you got there...
Go on.
No, it's your turn. I don't have to go on.
The
Tell me
method in
about
which I
Mortal
got
Kombat 10.
Well, what do you want to know specifically? There's a lot to talk about.
Okay, well, you walked in there, and what are your first impressions?
Graphics look really good. Killer Instinct is technically the first next gen, current gen fighting game, and a lot of people felt like, oh, it looks kind of like 360, but the particle effect stuff made it look next gen. This game, you don't need to see the particle effect. You just see the game, you're like, oh shit, like everything is like smooth looking. Everything is high res. You can tell everything is high res, which is really impressive. I think that's probably the part that you don't understand is why it looks so good, because the game is running at 1080p 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And you're used to 720p, and so you see it, you're like, it looks really good. And I'm not sure why, but that's what it is. It's really high resolution, and it's all running perfectly smooth. So, even though it's really early, I mean, you guys have to remember this game's not due out for another 6+ months.
Maybe
it's over half a
almost
year away.
Yeah.
Right. So it's super far away, and this is what we get to see now. And they showed us 6 characters. They're still fleshing out the system mechanics, etc. But it was a playable enough form that they could show it, in back rooms, etc.
So
yeah,
okay, so you got the opportunity to go into a top secret, area where you had a few setups. How many were available?
There were only 6 setups. It's basically like the room where the press guys get to come into. People from the PlayStation blog would come in there, and or Game Informer Europe or Eurogame or whatever. these guys would come in for their chance to like get some hands-on time at the game and go home and write an article or whatever, you know. And so those guys would typically be in there for like 15, 20 minutes or something, and then the NRS guys were really cool. Paulo Garcia. Unfortunately, I don't remember the other guys' names, but Paulo's the one who got me in, so I remember his name. But they were cool. Like most of the scene guys who got to go in there, they just basically let us play as long as we wanted.
Nice.
So it was ridiculous and awesome. So yeah, there was 6 setups in there: 3 Xbox One, 3 PlayStation 4s, and I played on the PlayStation 4 because they were all pads. So.
Yeah, you had to play on pad. And so okay, now you get to the. Did you ask them a lot of questions? How open were they about the game? Because I have a lot of questions that I want to ask you, and I don't know how much you were.
No, I mean they were like the thing that sucks was Paulo was busy when I first got in there, so somebody else explained it to me, and he was one of like the guys who didn't do a lot of the work on the game, so he was just kind of like showing it off, So he wasn't as knowledgeable, and I think he gave me some bad info, which screwed me up at first, and then. I wish I had Paulo there, but he came and he did explain a lot to me. And he was very open. He was standing behind me and just any question I had, I asked him and he gave me the answer to it. So
okay.
So yeah, go for it.
All right, so I'm just gonna fire away. One of the things that I heard about and I want to know about, and you told me a little bit about this, but we haven't gotten into too deep of details about it. But there's a stamina gauge.
Right.
What does the stamina gauge dictate? What depletes stamina?
Backdashes, forward dashes, using stage interactions, and running.
Is the stamina one right below the life bar?
Yeah.
Right, that's what it is.
Okay.
And so basically a backdash takes off half of the stamina gauge. Forward dash also takes off half of the stamina gauge. Also, you are required to have full stamina to do a combo breaker in addition to the 2 breakers. Yeah. So if you had just backdash and started getting comboed, or say you had done 2 backdashes and then you started getting comboed, you may not be able to break as early as you'd like to.
Holy shit, that's weird. Yeah. Why did they decide to do that, I wonder?
I think it's that way the combo breakers aren't like instant. Like today when I was in there, I was playing like matches where like, I knew combos, the other guy knew combos. And what would happen is like, I don't know if you remember from MK9, but it's a situation where like you hit your like launcher, like say I hit an ice ball with Sub-Zero, and as soon as I go for the next hit, he breaks it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, it's so annoying. But like that, I think they're trying to minimize those shorter combos by giving these small opportunities, where you can get a longer combo because there's something else in play.
Okay, so and you also have to keep an eye on the opponent's stamina, I'm sure, like all the time.
Not really that much because the stamina bar regens really quickly currently.
Did they say whether or not the stamina was going to be homogenous throughout the cast, or is it going to be like big characters have more, little characters have less, or what?
They didn't say, but right now it looks like it's homogenous.
Okay. And then the other thing, so you mentioned there's now a run, forward dash, and before we even get to run, forward dash and back dash in Injustice, most people hated that shit because they could not cancel out of it. So when you commit to a dash, you basically are committing to a big commitment. It's not like you can just hold block and stop the dash in the middle of the animation. So is that the case in this game?
Injustice is like this game. So you cannot use block to stop your forward momentum, and you have to wait for the entire dash animation to complete. And basically I asked them about it, and they told me that they didn't like, for whatever reason, the block dashing that happened in Mortal Kombat 9. And in previous MK games as well, actually, you could dash block, and so they wanted to, find a way around that or whatever, or work it out of the system. And I think as an MK player before, like that dash block, it looked retarded, but it was a big core part of the gameplay and why the gameplay seemed to move so fast, even though the walk speeds are slower. You know what I mean? Like you could dash block,
right?
And you're always doing something. But in Injustice, that's kind of a lot slower. That thing. So a lot of people said about MKX is that the walk speed is way faster. The gameplay is going to be so much faster. But you have this walk speed now, but you don't have dash block anymore. And I don't expect that they'll put that back in because I think what a lot of people have complimented MKX for is its really smooth animations. And I think once you start seeing dash blocks, it just ruins that effect.
So they're sacrificing the depth in gameplay and the good feel of dash blocking for aesthetic smoothness, you think?
That is my assumption. Yeah, I mean, they told me that they didn't really like the dash block, but they didn't give me specifics as to why.
Okay, so
So
now
my assumption is it's aesthetic.
Now, you've played the game of Grip. Does that mean, and I asked you this yesterday, but it's kind of odd now that I think about it, if this is true. So in MK, one of the big strategies, for example, like with Smoke, what I would do is I would do whatever, a string or whatever, and if I thought they were going to jump, I would do a down one, and if they jumped, the down one would hit them in the air,
Right.
and then I could dash after that down one and do another down one and then do a smoke bomb, and that would be a combo. So now, if you can't cancel your dash with an attack or a block, that means that you will have to do more canned, like, we want you to do this combo types of combos.
Right.
And I don't know if I love that in concept. That's really weird. That means that basically the movement system is gonna feel like in Just Dance, right?
More or less. They're like the Devora, is that her name?
I think it is.
Yeah, the spider-looking chick. She has a really fast walk speed. So with her, you might actually be able to do something like down jab to float him out at the jump, walk forward, down jab. You know what I mean? Something like that. Because with her, I noticed if you just walk forward, block, hold back, block, it looks kind of like MK9. Not quite there, obviously, in terms of speed.
Yeah.
But it's much more of that feel with her than it is with any of the other characters that I touched.
Wow, that seems so crazy.
It's very different.
Jumping. Okay, so there's no super jump in the game, right?
No, the only kind of stuff that looks like super jumps from the trailers or whatever that you've seen is interactable. So there's a couple interactables in the stage where once you jump off it, that requires your stamina meter as well, but it sends you flying high. And sometimes there'll be one here and another one here. So when you jump on this one, if you say you have 2 bars of stamina, you can be able to jump this one, then you have no stamina, right?
So you grab something during your jump and do
right.
another.
Or you jump off it with your feet again, whatever. Or if you only had 1 bar of stamina, you'd only be able to do that first jump, and you wouldn't be able to do the second one.
Huh, gotcha. Okay, so you said that stamina is used for running. So they brought running back, and I know you told me there is no run button. So tell me how do you run in this game?
So currently, the way run is implemented is you do a forward dash, and then you hit block, and then you will start running. And then once you start running, you can hit block again to stop the run. And the run drains the stamina slowly. It's not like a chunky one.
That sounds really weird. Like, just without trying it, okay, I wasn't planning on going to E3 this year because I had finals. And yesterday, I found out that you played, and I was talking to you about it, and I think you telling me that forward, then guard starts a run is what made me really think, I really want to play this. Just to see, like, why, how does that even feel? I'm so curious. So, okay. What that makes me think is you can't dash block, which means when you forward dash, you're in a huge vulnerable situation. So can you do something like forward dash and then double tap guard and then block?
Yes.
So
but not as fast as you want it to be.
Did you try drumming, like doing a really
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, we're playing on pad, so it's hard to drum a trigger, but we try to do it as fast as we could. But the forward dashes, they're a little bit bigger, I feel like, than they were in Injustice. So, like, you're committing to a pretty big movement. And then once you start running, you're going to see a little bit of the run before you get the double tap out. So you're committing a pretty good amount of screen space before you even get to that block.
Really? Hold on. When you say the dash is bigger, do you mean, like, frame-wise? Like,
Distance.
there's more frames?
Distance-wise.
So, but does that count as frames as well?
Hold on, let me think. I think in terms of frames, I would say it's close.
Dashes are not universal, though.
Yeah, but
but I'm saying just
generally,
just think of like a Superman dash versus like an MK dash. Like.
Yeah, Superman dashes are pretty fast in Injustice. I would say they're way slower than Superman dashes in MK.
Okay.
Way slower.
Like a Lex Luthor dash, maybe.
Close.
Wow.
Close. A little bit faster than Lex Luthor, I think, is where we're at.
Okay, so, man, that is really wild.
So I mean, that was my biggest concern though with the movement system. Like, I mean, the first thing I did was dash block, and I started running. I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on. I actually brought Beelan with me, and we were both accidentally running a bunch. So it's like the hell is going on? We don't understand how to play this game. We told him like, well, this is weird. This is the only thing we really have an issue with. And they were open to like, you'll get used to it basically. And today I went back. And I was definitely much more used to it. I think I may have only gotten one accidental run the whole day. Which is I didn't play much. I only played about 40 minutes today, but still that was much better than yesterday, where I was like, things were just happening. My biggest concern was, I decided to do a forward dash from across screen for no reason because I'm an idiot, and then Scorpion throws a spear, or Sub-Zero throws an ice ball. I'm like, oh shit, I better block that, and then I start running right into that shit. So that was my concern. So my solution, if there would be a solution, would be to make a run button separate from the block button, or just make the notation to run not include the block button. That way you can dash and you can guard, which is an important aspect of a fighting game, to be able to guard, without being interrupted by some other bullshit stuff.
Wait. So if you do run, right, and then you press guard while you're running, how fast does it go from run to guard? Like,
man, that's a good question, and I wish I knew a good answer. It's fairly fast. I don't know if it is. I don't think it's as fast as MK9's dash block was, though.
There could be more to this equation.
That's a hard question to answer.
Did you ask them if there's anything else you can do with the stamina bar?
No, I didn't.
I wonder what else you could do with the stamina bar.
From what I've seen is like you can do combos and then run. Like usually you would do some kind of a combo that has a launcher and it sends them far away. So you're like, okay, well that's the end of that combo. Maybe I can hit him with a projectile or something. But no, now you can run and attack more. You know what I mean? So how Paulo explained it to me today was, because I read somewhere that you can run cancel out of strings.
Yeah, he said that's what I was just going to get at.
He said it's the same as MK9, where at the last frame of your attack, if you buffer a dash, the dash will come out immediately afterwards. So he says you can buffer a run like that.
Well, I mean, that makes sense since a run is an extension of a dash.
A dash, right. So that's basically how you use it in a combo. You do a string that has like a launch that's sends far away, run cancel that, and then you're running using the stamina bar for that, and you can do something else.
Okay. Another thing about blocking. So when you hold the block button and you release the block button...
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry to pick up. Bill is in the chat right now, and he said stamina is also for interactables.
Yeah. You mentioned that earlier, too. But is there like a heavy cooldown for the block button? Like if Scorpion's standing there and you push the block button and he puts his hands up, and then you let it go, and then you put it up again... Is there like a big gap in between, or did you happen to notice
those
that?
kind of words are kind of funky, like big gap or small gap, like.
I mean, as opposed to Mortal Kombat.
I can tell you there is a gap, and I haven't played MK9 in a long time, so I really can't relate it in that sense.
I think it's so odd that they decided to make dashing so vulnerable because really, when Injustice came out, the thing that made all the Mortal Kombat players say, "Oh, I'd rather just play Mortal Kombat," was the mobility and the dash blocking being gone. And I have to say that I liked it too. I mean, that was the one thing about Injustice that was like, I kind of missed that, being able to stop my dash and have good like aggression and offense. And when I heard there was a run, I thought, oh, this is going to be nice for offense. You're going to be able to run and, keep the pressure on. But it seems almost like the run is basically either for combos or for closing space. But even for closing space, it might be a little dangerous. Yeah.
Because you run real fast,
oh, really?
Your reaction time to being able to block, because the amount of screen space you're covering when you start running, in relation to you reacting to them attacking you and you hitting block again to stop that run, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to cover so much screen space so fast that you better be, like, anticipating them to do something to block in time.
Wow, it's so peculiar that I really just feel like I've got to try it out. The other thing...
It's different. Unique, it's unique to the new game.
Okay. The other thing that is really new to this game is the groove select idea. Can you go over... First of all, it's called... What's it called?
Variance, I think.
Variation, right? Really a terrible name for it. I really
What would you call it? Jams?
Well, no, that's what I was saying yesterday. You got to call it something cool, like jam. What jam do you use? Or like, groove or... I don't know, something cool. Variation is like a shitload of syllables, and you can't really shorten it. What's your var, dude? That's no good. I don't like it. I don't like the name. I want it to roll off the tongue.
What's your V, dude?
Yeah, something.
V1, V2, V3?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess V1, V2 is gonna work out, but so tell me about that system. Tell me about let me tell you about what everyone wants and what I'm hearing and what I want. What I want it to be like is if I play, let's say, Smoke, right? I play Smoke, and I think that Smoke versus someone is a bad matchup, which it won't be because Smoke owns everyone. But let's say it is, right? I want to be able to change my groove and be able to compete in this match as opposed to switching characters. Especially that will come into play if the dash blocking is not there, because dash in Justice really makes matchups harder and easier. So
Right.
I think that if dash is not cancelable, matchups are going to be a bigger issue in Mortal Kombat than they were in Mortal Kombat 9. So
Yeah.
what how does this variation select work?
I wish it was like very consistent in how it was. Like I wish like variation 1 was always going to be more offensive and variation 3 was always more defensive. But as far as I can tell, it's just like, these are just 3 different ways you can play the character, and it's not necessarily consistent between all those characters. So it's something you're going to have to like dig into your own character and find out which ones do what. For Scorpion, for example, the first one is his ninjutsu style, where he basically has like his back to overhead from MK9, and also his low kick. So he can use either one of those to start a combo, right? So he's much more aggressive. He's got much more range on a couple of his normal attacks. And before I go into more detail, basically these variants keep most of the core moves of the character, but they just add or remove 1 or 2 things. That's generally how they work. So for Scorpion, like I said, you get these extra overhead attacks. You get the extra long range normals. And other than that, he's pretty straightforward Scorpion. He's still got his teleport. He's still got his spear, etc. Right?
Okay.
V2, he gets a fireball, and he gets his Injustice Instinct, the one where he can burn you. You know what I mean? To reset his combos.
Oh.
Like how it works, I think. Yes. So that's
Okay.
his V2 basically.
And
And
feels more like a keep out style character instead, then, huh?
you could say that, I guess. But I mean, he has a projectile, which is a big deal. He's
Huge deal.
right. And then V3, he has these demons that he throws out. First, like the first thing I told him, I was like, "Yo, Noob's gonna be in this game, right?" He's like, use V3 Scorpion, right?
Wah,
And I'm like,
wah.
okay. And yeah, I think that means no Noob. Basically, he's got this. He basically summons this demon out of places. So one of them, he summons like a downward projectile demon. That attacks from the air. It's really useful in the corner. I found out today on accident. So that was interesting. Or he summons it from behind you to attack. That's a mid. And then though instead of his hellfire that burns you, that's unblocked from the bottom, the demon comes up and grabs your legs. And in that one, once that thing grabs your legs, you're done. Like, he gets a free spear, or if you're up close, you can just start a combo. So that's basically V3.
So he doesn't have a spear in all his versions?
No, he does.
Every version has a spear.
I don't know about V2, but the projectile and the spear. I didn't play that one much. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he does have a spear in all his versions, because like Sub-Zero has his ice ball in all 3 versions and his slide in all 3 versions, but his ice clone does not exist in all 3 versions.
Okay, so that's the next thing I was going to ask you. So now, okay, we went over what Scorpion's variation differences are. What are Sub-Zero's variation differences, so we can maybe compare the two?
Right. So Sub-Zero variation 1, he gets weapons basically, and he's got like an overhead hammer attack. His 1/1 string gets the option of becoming a 1/1/1, with the third hit is I believe an overhead weapon. Then that's basically all of his changes. He does not have an ice clone.
I'm sure there's more. I mean, did they tell you these are all of the changes?
They list them out there when you select the character, and also when you go through the move list, the variations are highlighted for you.
Oh, okay.
So that's really cool. And just FYI, the move list info in that start menu is just like Injustices. They have the frame data, the same ordering of special moves, basic attacks, combos, whatever. So all that stuff is going to be just like
Very
Injustice.
good.
Like, that's awesome. And then in Sub-Zero's second variation, he's got like an ice shield. So like he brings up his ice shield, and if you attack it, you get frozen. He's got another move where he covers himself in ice. And I forget the specifics of this exactly, but I'm pretty sure you take no chip damage and less real damage, and maybe no projectile damage. No projectile chip.
This is like a status?
Yeah, he gets like basically he's covered in ice. You can see him
Okay.
like physically covered in ice. And he can walk around and stuff just fine with it. So it's kind of like a defensive trait, I guess you would call it. And that's more of a defensive variant, I would say, in general. Still no ice clone, though. But he still has his ice ball and his slide. The third variation is the one where he gets the ice clone and he gets to throw it. He also has the ice clone and the ability to shatter the ice clone to like send the ice shards towards you to do damage, or to create frame traps in the corner, etc.
Huh, cool.
Yeah, so that's a pretty unique one. And then still he's got his ice ball and his slide.
So he doesn't lose anything.
He loses the ice clone in the first 2 variants.
But I mean, you could say that as he gains the ice clone. But I mean, he doesn't necessarily lose any of his like core moves.
Right. So I don't think Scorpion loses Spear in variant 2, based
Oh,
on
okay.
that. That would be my guess.
Okay, so basically what I'm starting to see is it's definitely not one of those scenarios where you pick an assist in Marvel and it's like an anti-air class assist where your variation is a defensive class variation. It's going to be more like every character has their own 3 individual variations, and if one is going to be defensive or offensive, it's going to be basically the player's job to figure that out. There's no obvious. Okay. That's still actually, you mentioned in the beginning, you mentioned, I kind of wish that it were like that. I don't know if I agree. I think it's going to be more fun if it's not like that.
Yeah, I feel like if it was, like, my concern with the variance thing is that it's confusing to like a noob kind of a player, like to a casual player, I guess, that like you're like, what the hell are all these things? Like, how do I know which one I'm supposed to want to use? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many choices. And if it was more simplified, like this is kind of similar to how I felt about gems in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. By the way, it's like when I first played the beta of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, there was just 3 options for every character: power, defense, or meter gems, right? And then when the game was shipped, it was like a billion possibilities. Like there's too many options that weren't consistent for every character. Like some character their default to power and meter or something. Like it wasn't consistent, and it was this confusing feel, I guess. You didn't know which ones you're supposed to pick. You just pick kind of whatever. But in this game, obviously, it matters a lot more.
I mean, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem that confusing. It depends. It's a lot of speculation.
There's a lot of variants. Like, for example, I can't remember this guy's name. Ferrotora, Tora Ferret. I don't know. Whatever. The dude who has the other little dude, who's a little girl, actually.
Yeah.
Like that guy's third variation does not have the little girl.
Yeah.
So like, and he has a lot of attacks in the other variants where he throws her, like, or uses her as a slide move from long distance or as an overhead. And once he doesn't have her, he loses all of those moves. So he becomes like pretty different. I would assume, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of variation is pretty drastic compared to the ones that I just described for Sub-Zero.
It seems like this is going to be something really hard for them to do. That's really, like, to me, the more I hear about it, the more it seems like, wow, they really are taking on a serious challenge here. Because for a competitive game, if each one of those different variations is completely different and really, like, arbitrarily different for each character, like, not having that girl on your back, I mean, how is that going to be, taken to another character? You can't. It's going to be very unique to that character. They're going to have a hard time, I think, balancing this game, which makes me think, are we in for another, like, patch fest?
Patch fest?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Of course you are, though, because it is NRS, man, and they've been very, liberal with their patches.
Do we all agree with that? Is that something we want to see in the future Mortal Kombat? What do you think,
I mean,
Ricky?
Well, I don't mind it. I'm not really right now. I'm not even concerned with balancing because the game's not even out yet. So all I really care about though is that as long as the groove thing or the V things are all fairly different, I think the whole balancing thing won't even be that big of an issue until the game gets fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. I don't know. I don't really care too much of the balance or balancing or thinking who's cheap yet, obviously, either.
Right.
But as a released fighting game, in a competitive scene, these games come out, and the first few months they come out, there's a lot of money to be made, for competitors. And then, we have some major tournaments that come out, and the whole patching thing, though I do really like that they support the game after it's launched, what I really hate is that they patch balance as opposed to patching things that make the game unplayable. I really don't think that they should patch the game's balance so early at all, because I don't know, at this point it's pretty clear when someone discovers that Catgirl or Batgirl or whatever has an infinite, okay, we better fix that, or anything like that, okay, we better fix that with this patching. But I really don't like that when a game comes out, of course, the whole test your might and everyone is just going to be bitching about everything. Deathstroke, wow, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Something's going to be cheap. I really hope that they don't balance patch the game sporadically. I hope they really make the actual balance patching of the game come out in chunks. And I hope they, announce the dates as well. That's what I would like to see. I've talked about that in the past. I think one of my bitch callings in the past has been companies that release patches without dates. So competitors are kind of like left the morning of a tournament with a new game. You know, I don't really like that.
I think we talked about it before, where the patching system on next-gen consoles is better, easier to do than it was on previous consoles. So this could be something that it could be addressed just because of the console generation.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the whole patching idea is a great idea. I just think now that you have the power to do it, you have to be very careful how you use it because you're patching the game for competitors. Noobs and jobbers and scrubs don't even know what the fuck they're doing, so it doesn't really matter.
We can talk about all this later. That stuff's still far away.
Yeah. This is something that I just really hope, they're cautious with. The patching is a big deal. Because the more I hear about these variations, the more I think that shit's going to definitely be hard to balance.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think there's 24 to 30 characters, maybe, I'm just assuming. There's 24 right now if you look at the fake.
Squares.
Yeah, right. So 24 times 3 is 72. So that's a lot of characters. They're not complete characters, but they are kind of like individual characters. To get the balance right on. Like, does Scorpion to projectile change him that much? Like, maybe it does mess up some balance things. Yeah, you have no idea. So
I'm sure it does. I'm sure. Yeah. To me, like, at the first instinct, the first thing that I think will probably happen is that there will be the best Scorpion and the best Sub-Zero in terms of variation, and there won't be much of a reason to pick the other ones. That's what I think will likely happen. Now, if it's really well implemented, it could be that there are 2 or even perhaps 3 versions of each character that are equally valuable, but valuable in different ways. That obviously is what I would want in a perfect world. But historically, when you look at any type of option, like you look at CVS2 and there's the Groove Select. You look at, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, there's Super Art Select. Any type of those options usually produces one that is clearly better than the others. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm excited about it because it's happening in the way that I want it to, where it's not like anti-air class Scorpion and anti-air class Sub-Zero. I want it to be arbitrary. I want it to be like, ice clones and random shit and like, whatever they want. No person on your back, whatever.
In that sense, yeah, makes sense.
I just really hope that that's why I went into that patching tangent, just because, it's going to be hard work. These guys have a serious task ahead of them, so we'll see about that. But next up, so what else about the game do you think is something that stood out to you or things that you want to mention about the game?
Interactables being blockable was a nice change. I liked that a lot. And when I first saw the Interactables, I was concerned about it. I was like, oh, God, why are they still going down this path? But then I saw it was blockable. I was like, oh, this is nice. The other thing that these are things I feel like that they learned from Injustice, right? So the Interactables, you can block it. The other thing is wake-up attacks. Now, majority of them do not have invincibility. Like, I don't even know if any have invincibility. And when I asked him about it, he said the EX wake-up attacks are the ones that have invincibility. So if that holds true...
I love that!
So if that holds true for every wake-up attack in the game, that's going to require Meter to have an invincible wake-up attack, which means in certain situations you'll be able to say like, okay, now I can go for my Oki because he can't just wake-up attack. So that's really nice.
Beautiful. I mean, that's all you had to do. 1.0 for Injustice really blew it for me. It made it so that any old Mickey Mouse moron could just mash on that shit and wake up with the tightest moves. I mean, these wake-up moves were so fucked up. But now, at least, you can have a read on them. You can say, okay, he's got 2 meters right now, and I knocked him to the ground. If he wants invincibility, he's going to have to use one of those meters, which means that if he fucks it up, he won't have a breaker. So this is like a huge aspect to the game. It adds a ton of depth, and it takes away that newbie bullshit where any old jobber is in the clutch, and then he lets the opponent knock him down so he could get access to a fucking invincible wake-up attack. I love that idea. I was most excited about the variation change, but since you told me that automatically sounds great. I'm the type of guy that thinks that you should be rewarded by hitting the opponent with Okizeme. I've heard other Mortal Kombat players say that they want lots of damage, and they want to be able to do combos that do a lot of damage. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that you should reward people with opportunities rather than damage. Damage is good and you should get some, but rewarding people with opportunities is really a great way to make your game competitive and make the player feel fulfilled. You know, like it's very fulfilling.
I made these things happen.
What's that? Go ahead.
I made these things happen. It wasn't just I got lucky this 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, I mean, you hit them with one launcher, or they don't block, or they accidentally ran, or whatever, and you clip them with a string. If that's gonna do 50%, you know, it's not really like you're dope. Who cares? You know, whatever. We've all seen that. We have YouTube. What I like is when you hit them with the whatever combo, and then now it's time. Let's put our minds to the test. You're getting up. I know you have 1 bar. It's like a really cool addition, and I thought about it last night when you told me about it, and that sounds like the coolest part of MK10 to me. Wake up attacks don't have invincibility unless you burn your meter to use them. You still have 3 bars, right? So now the first bar is for EX moves. The second, once you obtain 2, you get a breaker, and then 3 of them gives you X-rays again, right?
Right.
And there's only 1 X-ray per character. Am I correct?
Yes.
As
far as I've seen so far.
Wait a minute. So you said that big guy who has a chick on his back, if he loses the chick, won't his X-ray be a different X-ray?
That should be different.
Yeah, because I saw her X-ray. She jumps out and pokes him in the eye.
She pokes the eyes, yeah.
So
the third one should be different.
What if X-rays have different properties? And there's more too. I'm thinking that it's possible that the variations could maybe deplete stamina differently. Maybe they have different run speeds. Maybe they have different dash speeds. Who knows? There is a lot they could do with this variation.
I hope they don't go that far with it.
They could.
I hope that they don't. That's all I'm saying.
Why is that?
I hope that, stuff like dash speed per character, I would hope that they keep the variance the same. That way you have the base character, and the base stuff is the same. Like his jump arc is always the same. You know, his walk speed is always the same. His back dash, forward dash distance is the same.
There are a couple. I don't want to forget about what we're talking about, but I want to remember this question that just popped in my head. So let's not forget the dash speed thing. But jump arcs are all different now, right? Because in the previous Mortal Kombat, jump arcs were like everyone did the just flip over thing, and so now everyone's different.
It seems different, yeah. I think the Vora has a more floaty jump. The big guy seems to jump hella far. And in general, some of the jumps just seem really huge. Like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, for some reason, I don't know if it's just the camera system or what, but sometimes I feel like, wow, I am freaking way the hell above them right now. You know, like, it's I think it's the camera system, though.
Okay, so now we know that they have different jump arcs. Now, the next thing that I wonder, and I asked you yesterday, but I don't even remember what you said, was when you jump in. So let's say I'm jumping in on you and I go over you. If you do a punch in Mortal Kombat, they jump over you and it auto-corrects the punch to go in the other direction. So basically, every move can be a cross-up. Every move is still a cross-up in Mortal Kombat 10?
Yes.
Wow.
So I mean, because there's not really a cross-up, because it's just a block button. You don't have to choose a direction, you know?
True, but it still auto-corrects onto the other side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact time of MK9s versus this one, but I mean, it's still, you jump over someone, you wait a little bit longer once you're over the peak, and then your attack will come out facing them still.
Okay, right. And what about jump in punch used to be like, if you hit them, you can start a combo. A jump in kick used to be a knockdown.
Yeah.
Is that still the way?
I couldn't tell if you could combo off of the jumping punch. Like, the TVs are pretty laggy in there.
I'm sure you could.
But, no, it was hard. Trust me. Like, you can ask Beal. It's not easy. It was hard to do, like, simple combos, dude. Anyway.
Ask Beal? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, look at the 2 people I'm asking about combos. You guys destroy controllers with your mashing and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, the jumping kick still knockdown.
Okay. Yeah, there's no way that they're going to put a jump in without a combo ability afterwards. You have to be able to jump in. You got to remember, the Mortal Kombat system is very dial-in. So you almost have to do your follow-up while your jump-in is still hitting.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
I remember that now.
It's hard to combo off of jump-ins unless you start.
You just got to commit.
Yeah, you got to do it, like, during the jump. So, okay, it sounds like that's...
still work then.
Yeah, it sounds like that's pretty similar. Anyway, the thing that we were mentioning about dash speeds...
But I hope the variants of the characters keep the same base statistics.
Right. Okay. So, what I was thinking would be cool is, since we don't have dash blocking anymore, it would be pretty cool if, let's say, you picked like the big character, the Juggernaut-looking character,
Sure.
and you're not happy with this big dash because you can't dash block. What if they gave these different characters different dashes in different grooves so that maybe you could find a dash that fits your play style? I think that would be a good idea. That's what I was hoping for initially, but it sounds like
Yeah.
tell me,
I don't
Ricky,
like
what
it.
are your thoughts?
Well, I don't like it just because it changes the character in a sense where it's like, maybe
Too
like
much?
yeah, it's almost it changes the core of the character. You know, I feel like the movement and things like that are core based. Like not if it went like the way Rip said earlier, with like each variable was like set in a certain way, where like variable one for all for every character is acts the same as variable throughout.
Anti-air style or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, like it was like grooves in CVS where P groove you had the parry, but
Right.
in every other groove you didn't. Then that'd make more sense. But since it doesn't seem like that, I doubt that they would change the core fundamentals of a character with each variable, unless uh, someone in a different variable, someone loses a leg or some shit, and then then they fucking limp around. Other than that, I don't see them changing it too much.
Yeah, they're totally gonna put that in the game now, Rick. That's gonna be tight.
I don't know. To me, I would like the idea to be. They should take advantage of the idea because it could be a great idea, and I just want them to do a lot with it. I don't want them to just be like, well, now you can pick a Scorpion with a fireball or not.
I think it is kind of a lot already, and I feel like if they went much further into it, like the way you're suggesting, as a defensive player, it's going to be really hard to keep up with.
I don't
I
know.
mean, imagine you beat me one match and you switch to the same character, but all of a sudden he's walking faster. So it's confusing as hell, and you got different moves. It looks very similar.
I completely disagree with you. I mean, dude, we're competitors. I mean, we're
Right.
not retarded. We could just be
Right.
like, oh, he's picking this, and I know what the
Yes.
differences are.
Right, and I'm saying that it's confusing. Like when I think James Chen was the one who said it. Like he looks at Tekken with customizations on, he's all like, I can't tell who the hell is who anymore. You know what I mean? Like even though we all see it, we all know who it is, right?
I don't. I can never tell who I'm fighting against online. I hate customizations. I think they're shitty. Go on.
Right, and so in this game, the characters do have visual differences for the variants, but they still primarily look the same. You know what I mean?
Oh, you
So,
mean
like-
you gotta watch what they picked? Is what you're saying?
More so, yeah. Like, say Devora, she has her hoodie off or her hoodie on sometimes. You know what I mean? Or if Sub-Zero's got his weapons, then he's got weapons on his back. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I think they're things in the costume, but the colors are all the same. You know what I mean? It looks like the character. You're not going to mistake it.
You don't think they'll actually add it to the heads-up display?
Yeah, I think it's already there, actually, isn't it? Like when
Oh,
you
I don't
pick,
know.
Yeah, I think there is an indicator somewhere on screen
Okay.
showing what version they're playing.
Anyway, I just think that I don't want it to get too much crazier.
Oh no,
You're
it is.
saying you're down with it.
There definitely is. I'm looking at it right now. It's right above their name. It says like Farah/Tor, and right above it says Ruthless.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it says
assume
the
that's-
words of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want them to get crazy. I want them to just take their clothes off and just fucking go crazy, because this is a great opportunity. It's a great idea, and it's something
Bad
that
idea.
they could really... It's a bad idea? You don't even
Bad
like
idea.
the idea
Don't like the idea.
of variations at all?
No. I don't like the idea of going further with your direction of variations, where you change their walk speed, jump arc, etc.
You're such a pussy. Why don't you be brave? Who
Huh?
cares? They'll
Dude.
put lots of stuff in the game.
The game's already gonna have a lot of stuff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's not like it's Tekken where each variation is going to be 500 moves. It's just
I
like a couple of
understand
moves.
that.
You could
I
throw the ice
understand
clone
that.
and fucking whatever.
Right. I understand that. And I still think it's gonna be a lot. Like I already said, it's already gonna be 72 characters if it's as is. You know what I
That's
mean?
not
Like
72 characters, man. 3 versions. So you're telling me in CVS2 it's like 500 characters because there's
Yeah.
6 grooves?
Yep.
So it's like every character. Come on,
Yep.
man. That's ridiculous.
So Sebastian and Lily are really like different characters.
I mean, that's a different argument. I think that's totally different. But in
It's
this,
I
kind
don't
of
think
like
it's different at
Force
all.
Law.
I think they're
Force Law
almost
Martial Law. That's what it is.
Force.
Because one's got a back 1-2-1, one's got a 4-3-2.
Okay,
one's
yeah.
No, that's
No,
like
but I really don't look at them as two different characters, to be honest.
I
Force
don't
and-
either.
Right?
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So they're practically are like the variation. Now you're saying you want Force to have like faster walk speed or some shit too?
Well,
Like-
I mean,
like-
comparing it to Tekken like that is not going to work exactly, but I would like there to be big differences, is my point. Don't get hung up on the walk beat. That's not really what I'm talking about. I just want there to be big differences in the variations. I don't want it to be just
Okay.
now he has an ice clone and now he doesn't, because that's kind of boring. I think that's kind of boring. I think it would bring a lot of spice to the game and a lot of flavor if you could really have 3 different Sub-Zeros, like really 3 different Sub-Zeros. And the initial idea that I got was this will be cool for them to be able to do, like, you know, Sub-Zero in MK9 was Sub-Zero. He had the clones, he had the slide, blah, blah, blah. And then Cyber Sub-Zero, he had a big ice blade, and he would freeze himself for a counter. He had bombs and shit. I was thinking they could do Variation 3 or whatever, be Cyber Sub-Zero from MK9. Like a completely different character.
That would have been cool. I would have been down with that.
One has bombs, one has swords and whatever. The other one has hellfire and fucking whatever. That's what I was thinking they would do. But from the sound of it, it seems like basically you're selecting what specials you want, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's all it is?
Yeah, and like it's generally seems to be like there is some idea behind it, like, you know, like we want this one to be slightly more aggressive and this one to be more defensive. You know what I mean? Like, so they have that kind of a mentality behind it, but you know, it's not drastically different. So I mean, I can kind of agree with you on that. Like, you know, it would be nice to see them be even more different from one another. But I feel like the core stuff, like, because they keep stuff like Sub-Zero always has Ice Ball, always has a slide, you know, Scorpion always has a teleport, always has a spear. You know, like to keep those core things for the same. I feel like they should keep the core aspect of the character always the same, like movement, jump arc, etc., dash speed, etc. I think all those things should be the same, and then go crazy after that. I'm down with that.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I have a feeling that with this idea and with that many characters, I think at least 1 or 2 of them is going to have something different about their jump or dash or run in the variations, because that just seems like a given to me. Like, I can't imagine why they would not do that. Like, this
I think
version,
Devora gets an air throw in one of her variations. You know what I mean? So that's kind of different.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. It's still early. Obviously, these kinds of decisions have not been set in stone. But I'll definitely say this. The idea of variation selecting in that game sounds cool. And when I heard that idea, the juices, I mean, it was crazy. All I was doing was thinking of what they could do. And that's what really is good. That's what's good to me. Like, it makes you really think, like, what could you do? What's available? What's possible? And I'm excited about that concept.
Regular smoke and robot smoke?
That's what I'm saying. You know, that would be sick. They're available. You know, like I would like that to exist. You know,
Cyrax and then Black Cyrax.
Yeah, or a human Cabal, like a live Cabal and, like, you know, zombie dead Cabal. You know, like, who knows? They could do a lot with this idea. You know?
I was about to say, dude, you're calling Cabal the wrong name. It's Kyle, and then I realized, like, oh yeah.
No, the real Cabal, not the poser Tekken player. The other thing you mentioned about the game that I thought was pretty interesting, and it's universal, is that you can now universally meter burn throws, and they leave you standing.
Yeah, but even before that, you can universally throw people out of juggle state.
Okay, so like giant swing in the air, that kind of a thing?
No, I mean like say I do a jumping neutral too, right? Those still launch the same as they did before.
Yeah. Okay,
bounce. You can combo with going straight into a grab.
Out of the air.
Out of the air.
Okay, so you can throw in your combos.
Too. Right.
Okay, and you can meter burn the throw,
right,
which leaves them standing. So technically,
right,
you could reset a combo by launching them in the air, throwing them, meter burning the throw, and then leaving them standing. Did you figure out if you can get free guaranteed hits after that?
Did not test.
But it changes the throw animation to something universal or a character unique specific?
I do not remember. Sorry.
So many questions. Yeah. I really wish I fucking played it. Damn it. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play it soon. But yeah, that's something really unique too. So what do you think about that? I mean, do you think this is going to be something that just causes resets all day? Is that going to be the,
I think it would be nice if you have a reset variant. Like, for instance, Scorpion 1 is heavier on reset than Scorpion 2 or 3. So with him, maybe you learn a combo that, you know, gets you a lot of damage and lets you end with a throw. Then you meter burn it there, and then you like let them get to the point of recovery where you go straight for your 50-50 again, you know? And in that sense, that would be really good.
Yeah, there is so much potential there. I think that sounds like a really interesting idea. Being able to combo off of throws in general, forget the reset idea out of a juggle, just being able to combo off of a throw in the Mortal Kombat universe or even in the Injustice universe really is a big deal because throws are really weak in those games. They're usually like 9 to 11% damage, and they're really like nothing. They're very easy to break. There's no mix-up. Or in MK, there's a mix-up. In Injustice, there's no mix-up. Do you remember if there's a mix-up for throws?
No. As far as I know, no.
Do you remember how it worked in MK9? It was a forward throw or a backwards throw, I think, and you break it with a forward or a backwards?
Holy shit, I did not even
You forgot about that?
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so in Injustice, if you get thrown, all you have to do is throw, and you break the throw. So it's like Street Fighter 3 or Super Street Fighter 4. In Mortal Kombat 9, a forward throw had to be broken with a forward throw, and a backwards one, if I recall correctly, had to be broken with a backwards one, and that was the mix-up. In Injustice, I think that throws are exceptionally useless because there's no mix-up, and they're so easy to break. In MK9, they're a little harder to break, but their value is not that high because all you do is get like 11% off of them. In MK10, if a throw is meter burnable and then comboable afterwards, I think that throws could be huge.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would know better than me.
No, I mean, I don't know how the break system is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Beal in the chat is saying that there's a mix-up that forward is 1 and back is 2.
Okay, so if that's the case, then they stuck with the Mortal Kombat 9 system of throw breaking, which is good to me. Another thing that you know the whole reset out of a juggle thing tells me is that depending on how versatile that is, so like depending on how many different juggles that I can end with a throw there are, that really weakens the idea of wake-up attacks even further because in MK, you're always going to eventually knock them down, and you're always going to eventually have to deal with a hat spin or fucking some bullshit. But in this game, not only do they have to use meter to get their wake-up attacks, you may not even have to give them that option.
Yeah, you spend your meter to prevent them from using their meter as a wake-up attack.
A lot of these ideas seem like they could work. A lot of these ideas seem like good ideas. I don't know. We'll see how they pan out, but...
Yeah,
man, there's so much cool stuff in this new game. What else? Anything else?
I'm trying to remember, and I feel like there was one more thing, but I really can't remember what it is. I mean, we talked about the run, we talked about the stamina, talked about the throw.
How about getting up off the ground?
Oh.
Is there a quick roll, or is there like
I didn't really test that much, no.
Man, how did you not test that? It's like the most important thing.
I'll tell you this. Today I got knocked down, and I felt like I took forever for my character to get off the ground.
You weren't mashing buttons when you hit the ground or anything like that to roll?
I'm saying the timing from like a hard knockdown, or maybe it wasn't a hard knockdown, maybe it was like a non-tech knockdown, seemed a very long time.
Well, let me remind you how it worked in MK9. In MK9, there were certain moves like sweeps that wouldn't allow you to tech roll, like non-techable knockdowns. But typically speaking, when you hit the ground, mashing any button, and I think including directions, would allow you to quick roll out of the knockdown, and you usually rolled away from your opponent. This is all off memory. I haven't played it in a long time either, but that's how I remember it working. So, yeah, I know. So you can't even, you don't know if there's a quick roll in this game.
No, there is definitely a quick roll because I've done it.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is I don't remember if there are options like to roll backwards and stuff. Like if you hold back and you quick roll, like does it roll you backwards, or you always roll in place? Like those things I didn't really pay attention to. No.
Okay, and you said there was something else you were trying to remember. You still don't remember what it was.
There's one other difference. So in MK, there's no meter burn button. Even though Theo seems to think there was, it's just block button.
Did after you showed him, did he still think there was a meter burn button?
No, because I made him look so bad in front of Slayer, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, block." But basically, use the block button as your EX attacks, right? So in Injustice, they gave us the option of meter burning things. So you do something, and then after that move starts, you hit the meter button, and it turns into an EX version later.
Yeah.
So in this game, they have both.
Okay.
So most moves, you have to EX. You have to hit it with the block button at the same time. Other moves, you can meter burn it later. So one example is Scorpion's Spear. His EX Spear can be meter burned. So once you hit backboard 1 plus block, you'll get
throw
the
an EX spear. Okay.
Right. Then once that's out, you can meter burn it by hitting the block button again.
So now it costs 2 meters.
Right.
Okay.
And then it'll put them in like a rejuggle state, basically, kind of like his Hellfire.
So like
hold
capture.
on, one second. You said block for both of those. So there's no meter burn button then.
There's no
It's
meter
just-
burn button. It's always blocked.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait, okay, yeah. Let me go over that again. So you throw the spears, it hits your opponent, and then you hit block.
No, that's after the EX spear.
Right.
Right.
So
Yes.
all you do is tap block again, and it meter burns your
Meter-
move.
Right. Hmm.
Are there
So-
moves that you don't have to use the EX of initially to meter burn again?
I don't know. I didn't test all the EX versions for all the moves. You know what I mean?
No. I mean regular moves. Like, are there any regular moves that you can
No,
meter?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know because
Oh.
that's a sense of trying to test every EX move. You know what I mean?
You know, we didn't even discuss this, but what are the buttons?
One,
1,
they
2,
are
3, 4. What is it?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that what you're asking?
Well,
Plus
that's
block.
Injustice, but we have a block button, so 3 is guard, right?
Oh, man, I think we're gonna
No,
go.
3's not guard. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4 block.
I don't know. I don't remember. You tell me.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4 block.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
so-
like Injustice.
So it's light
What the hell?
punch.
Wait, what the hell's block on 3?
I don't remember. That's where I played. That's how I played.
You
didn't
play,
I?
oh, you played on pad. That's right.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
so,
remember.
but your block was a shoulder button, anyways.
No, I didn't. Yeah, my block was a shoulder button. Now that I think about it, this is all gonna take a lot of remembering.
It's,
Trust
it's definitely
bit.
1, 2, 3, 4 block.
Okay, so we have a light punch, heavy punch, light kick, and a heavy kick. We have a block button. Is it still like there's a throw button that's mapped to 2 buttons,
Yeah.
which allows you to
Yes.
throw? Are there
One
any
push.
other buttons on the top, or what else are we dealing with here?
That's it.
You got the stance button.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
is
the
there
stance-
still a switch stance?
There's still a switch stance. Yes.
Why?
Oh, why not?
Well,
They put it in there just so that you can do easy supers.
what is
Did you,
that?
what's the command for the X-rays? Anyways?
Yeah, good
is it still the
question.
same?
I hit
kicks.
the bottom 2 triggers just the way I do it in Injustice.
Yeah, so it's
So-
probably the same. The same.
No.
as
So what do those bottom 2 triggers actually do by themselves then?
Block and something else.
You don't
Stance
even,
switch?
Yeah, probably stand switch.
Yeah, I think so.
If it's stance switch, that most likely means it's either
3
both
plus 4.
kicks and block, or 2
Yeah.
and 3.
I remember
block.
it being 3 plus 4 plus block.
Okay, yeah, that's
So-
what it was in
Perfect
Mortal Kombat.
time.
So
On the top, we're talking block button, throw button, switch stance, and the 4th button, we don't know what it does?
One button does nothing.
Okay, so then that's the 4th button.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't know, what else? Is there anything else you think is... Oh, yeah, there's a true ogre, ancient ogre character. What do you think about that character? He seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a lot of interesting stuff. He's one of those characters that needs like time to flesh out before you really understand how to use them. His first variant has these like I think they're called relics that he puts down, and they're like different colored relics.
Mhm.
And depending on which one you put down, you get different buffs essentially. Like one does more damage, one does I think lifesteal, and the other one I think you take less damage. I think those are his 3 variations. Or his 3 variants in that first variation. Those are 3 relics in that variation. I don't know. But then in the other 2 variations, he doesn't have those at all.
Oh,
The second variation, he's got a weapon. That's like this big ass sword that he can use. And then his third variation, I don't remember.
It seems like everyone gets a sword option. Is that the case? Like Scorpion has a sword stance, and Sub-Zero has a sword, and this guy has a sword. Are they all gonna have swords?
I don't think so. I don't think I don't think Cassie has a weapon. I mean, she has guns always anyway, so I don't think she got a weapon in her thing.
Hmm.
And I don't think I'm trying to remember like the Ferrator guy, he didn't get a weapon. The Juggernaut looking dude.
Well, I mean, he's already got one,
He
I
lost,
guess, right?
he lost his weapon. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there another character? There's one more. I can't remember who the 6th character is always. Devora. I think she has blades on her wrist or something, but I don't remember her using it much. I mean, we just probably haven't went through all the moves,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to be explored still. Okay, well, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good wrap up. I'm just really excited about that game. There's a lot. I'm a fan of new things. I've said it many times. I like new things, and I like developers to take risks. And though I may not like the idea of forward, guard, not giving you a dash block, and then not only does it not give you a dash block, it also gives you a run. I don't know if I like that or not, but at least it's a new idea. I like the stamina gauge being a new idea, and the variation select. All this stuff is good news to me. New things are cool. And I also like that they didn't necessarily just make it Injustice, because they are obviously taking things away from Injustice that they learned and liked. But one thing like the jumping over and auto-correcting punches, they have to have that. That's so Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat,
you
right.
know? But
Block
yeah,
button is Mortal Kombat.
yeah, block button, of course. If they didn't have a block button, that would be
It makes me wonder though. Like, do they need the block button anymore since they took out dash block?
Of course not. They never needed it
Right?
in MK9, but it's a tradition.
Now it's even more so that way. Is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
but they need to put it in because it's like once you take that out, is it even really Mortal Kombat? You know,
Yeah,
like
Scorpion Sub-Zero in it. It's Mortal Kombat.
I don't know. I mean, you're right. You're right. They could take it out, but it's all up to them, basically. Whether they like it, whether they don't like it, whatever. They're making their game, and I'm criticizing their game. So this is something that I'm just looking forward to overall. I was really excited to see what I did see. Something else I wanted to say about interactables. I did hear Ed Boon in one of his interviews say that though they are back in the game, they're not on the scale of in Just Ass where you're going to be picking up a car and throwing it at them. He said that verbatim. You're not going to be picking up big cars and doing these big explosions.
Right.
It's going to be more like the way he said it is that, okay, he presented it like this. Fighting games are a lot about positioning, so we wanted these interactables to affect the positioning of the match. So if you want it to be across the screen, you can use the interactable to get there. Now, what that tells me is, okay, there's going to be a lot of jumping around off of shit, but the things that you do use as attacks, like I know in the stage that has waves crashing against the pier, zombies randomly like get washed
Pop
up, and you can grab them and throw them as a projectile. But it doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal. You pick up like a bucket and throw it, and it's blockable. So I like the idea. I like that if they were going to bring it back, they're bringing it back in a different way, and it's not necessarily in that cheap way where some characters can pick up a tree and throw it at you, and the other guy just jumps off of it, you know. So that's really cool. Is there anything else that you guys have to say about Mortal Kombat? Because I think it's about time for us to consider bitch callings.
What about?
I was wondering maybe that if that empty button is gonna turn into something.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be. They have a spot available.
Or maybe it is something currently, and you just didn't realize it. Maybe that is.
Maybe it does something with something else. Oh, there's an interactable button.
Oh,
So that's the interactable button.
No, that's not the interactable button.
well, how could that be? So we have four
There's
buttons
a block,
on top.
interact, and a stand switch. Oh, and a throw.
Hello.
Yeah,
So you already have.
That was, but it wasn't doing anything. You're right.
So the button that doesn't do anything that you just
It does.
mentioned
You
was
just
the
have to be in the right
interactable.
place.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have an interactable button, block, throw, and stand switch, which I don't know about the stand switch, but whatever. Cool. You guys are, I mean, I don't know, Ricky, you're kind of I know you have a bitter taste in your mouth for Mortal Kombat ever since Johnny Cage stuck his foot in your ass, but...
I'm okay with it because that motherfucker's dead.
Whatever, man.
Cassie Cage is gonna ruin your day, dude.
Oh, dude, Cassie Cage, she has a green kick? Oh, man, when I saw the green kick, I got so amped up. I forgot all about commentating Mortal Kombat. Remember Johnny Cage? He just had green kicks and red kicks all day. It was so tight. Red kick. Oh, man.
We were just talking about combos yesterday. And just remember, like, Johnny Cage, down jab, down jab, down jab,
Dude,
nut
I
punch.
know.
No, two.
Yes, in the corner, standing
And the
two
nuts.
over and over again. That shit was tight. And now Johnny Cage's nut punch is not even going to be a big deal because before he would reset with it. Now it's like you could just reset with a throw, you know? So, I don't know. The whole idea seems really cool.
I heard that Cassie Cage, when she does her X-ray, she does like a nut punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I heard like in the musculature now, you see ball musculature, and in female musculature, you see like camel toe musculature.
Wow, camel toe musculature, huh?
Next gen.
I heard about a couple things that were not shown, like people didn't see them. Like someone said something about an X-ray involving genitalia, so that probably is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I also heard that the Scorpion's X-ray, or maybe fatality, the one where he cuts your face off, is like, I heard that one is like the most gruesome one that they showed, or that was available.
That's why they didn't really show it though.
Yeah,
like, I
they
think
cut it off.
They cut out the end of it. So what happens is you see him cut the face off, and then the trailer ends, I think. But what happens is the front of the face like slides down, but while it's sliding down, like you see the mouth like close and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because the muscles aren't that hold up, etc. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're getting out of control with the fatalities and shit. You know, no joke. I was showing Charles, and he was like, "Oh, this is like too much." And I've heard a lot of other people say that too. Like they're just like, "Whoa, this is like you kind of want to look away and shit." That's so tight. I just want to. When I see those, I just want to like eat a sandwich and just watch that shit. It's hilarious. I love it. I want them to be more over the top. I want the cameras to go crazy, and I love it. I love that stuff. I'm so amped up about that game. I can't wait. Anyway, so yeah, MK9. I mean MK10, whatever it is.
MKX, dude.
I don't like calling it MKX, by the way.
It is X.
No, I actually was watching an interview, and they were like, you know, They officially are calling it X, but because 10 is the Roman numeral X, whatever, who gives a shit? I'm calling it 10. So I think they should have named it Mortal Kombat again. They should have just named it Mortal Kombat. Why not? Just keep making Mortal Kombat. Fuck it.
Man, that would have been terror for parents buying that game for their kids. Like, can I buy Mortal Kombat and they get 9? It's like, can I buy Mortal Kombat and they get 10? It's like the last one.
Maybe it'll sell extra copies of old games. Why not?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm a marketing genius. They should have just called it Mortal Kombat 2014. But anyway, I'm amped up about that game. Like I said it a million times. So there was other shit that you wanted to talk about, but I'm not really that concerned with it, and it's getting kind of late. So make it snappy.
I'll make it quick. So Smash Bros. Had a Smash Bros. Invitational hosted by Nintendo. They rented Nokia Theater, and like it was like a pretty big deal because it was the first time Nintendo brought in community members and hosted a big event for everyone and the media. So this was the first time like the media was invited to like a big fighting game event, and I was thinking about it more, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, not only did they have this really big presentation, it went really well for them, by the way. The crowd is all super hyped. I forget his name, the Miyamoto guy from Nintendo came and he watched, and he was super happy. The Smash creator was there, he was super happy. Reggie at the end came out, and one of the players challenged him, and Reggie's like, no, I suck, but next year I'm going to come back and kick your ass. You know, he said ass. It was so weird to hear him say ass, you know, but because of that, like Kotaku picked it up and stuff, you know, so all these media companies picked up, you know, Smash Bros. As a fighting game in a tournament scene that's like cool and hype. And Reggie said maybe they're going to take the show on the road. Who knows? You know, they're really happy with the way this went.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that and thinking, like, it's at EVO this year. If Reggie shows up at EVO, like, that could make waves for EVO. You know,
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
They really got to push for that. I mean, it was just awesome. I mean, I kind of expected confetti to fall from the ceiling. It was just like this really big
Rick's wedding. So happy.
Oh, dude, the grand finals was hilarious too because like they gave the two players boxing robes.
Yeah.
With the Smash Bros. Logo, and like look, but like one of them came down like all fast. He's like clapping hands. Everyone was like, you know, like giving him high fives. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like if I saw him, be like, oh, whatever, you know, like let the guy walk
whatever.
by.
Nerd.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I mean,
I was yelling that while I was watching that stream the entire time. I'm like, why are these nerds getting so hyped? It's so weird.
Both of them didn't put the hoodie on, though. I was like, come on, man. You got to box him when you put the hoodie on.
The chat was really talking shit about the fat one.
Were they?
It was really funny.
Because his shirt was unbuttoned and he didn't have the whole robe on correctly.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I mean, I got bored through certain parts of it because I didn't like the
celebrity shit, whatever.
Yeah, let's watch these
Editors.
3 losers play, and let's watch these 3 scrubs play.
Obviously.
And it was right in the middle of all the action too. It was like, okay, we now have our grand finalists. Let's watch these losers.
But I mean, the cool part about it though was just that kind of stuff, that the BS that they did is what brought the media in. You know what I mean? Like they're getting exposure for the scene regardless.
Yeah, that's true. And it was a pretty big event, and I heard a lot of people went and liked it. You know, I noticed that Ultra David and Markman and shit, everyone was really excited about it. And it seemed like a pretty big deal, so that's all good. I'm down with that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I was telling Rick, like, I was thinking that, you know, for all these years, Smash has been like the bastard child of the fighting game scene, and at the same time, FGC is trying to grow into esports or whatever, you know, and now it's like Smash might be the game to pull the rest of us into esports if, you know, Nintendo makes it happen through EVO, etc. You know, so like the potential there from Smash is just it's crazy.
Do you really think that that's the direction it could go in? I don't know if
yeah,
it could.
I honestly think if like because of the success of this and because they allowed it EVO this year without like a big hassle and shit, like I think that if they make their presence known at EVO, like I think they'll attract a lot more media attention to EVO, and I think that's the one thing EVO has always been lacking.
I don't know about that. Isn't EVO like a huge media explosion?
No.
It's
like,
not?
Do you see GameStop or GameSpot and IGN coming to EVO to like broadcast and everything?
Didn't like what was that guy's name? Nick Cannon
G4
or
guy?
whatever? Yeah, didn't that guy commentate?
Adam Sessler, whatever. Yeah, I mean, like that was like he's like a nobody for like one thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, why aren't everyone there? You know what I mean? At the same time, like why is there only one thing? You know, like it doesn't.
There's usually only one big media outlet that would show up, and then that's it. And it's like they wouldn't show up again. Like IGN showed up once, I think, and then they weren't there in the next year.
Yeah, like it should be a much bigger event than it is.
I see. Well, yeah, I mean, I could see that happening for sure. I think they will be at EVO. I think if they are not at EVO, they're crazy. They need to do something big just like that at EVO for the new Smash.
Smash is coming out, exactly.
Yeah, so
I mean,
definitely.
this is time, and I think it's really an interesting situation. That's all.
This EVO is going to be crazy because you know NRS is going to be there big time. They always are. Last year they had a big presence. The year before they did too.
Oh my god, dude! MKX is probably going to be playable at Evo.
Of course.
Oh my god, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it better be. It better be, man. Of course it's gonna be playable. I can't wait.
That is sick.
Yeah, Evo is gonna be some dope ass shit. What if that's playable at Evo, Smash is playable at Evo, and Namco is just like, you know what? Check out this new Tekken that's also playable at Evo. Oh damn, Rip just dropped the call. Anyway,
Did he?
I don't know. I can't see his dumb face.
Oh, there he is.
There you go, dumb face inbound. But yeah, that could be huge. What if they have all the new games playable at Evo? It could be really dope. I don't know. I hope they don't fuck it up. They sound like they're doing a good thing. They're direction, open-minded, open arms to the competitive scene. I like that.
Dude, one more thing I got to talk about real quick.
Yeah, KI.
KI. They had TJ combo beginning of season 2, playable on the floor, only 50% done. They've only been working on it for 6 weeks, so he's pretty rough. But I heard some stuff, and it's interesting. I think season 2 for KI is going to be a lot different than what people expect. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you real quick my opinions. I've been pretty hype about every character release they've done. Like, Skeletor or whatever was really cool, and Fulgor was really cool. But Boxor looks really lame to me. I mean, he looks so lame. I feel like any Killer Instinct fan could have made that shit. Like, Dan could have programmed that in. It looks boring. His animations look ugly. His voice sounds, like, cornier than the shit I took yesterday. I mean, it was just like... I was really disappointed with TJ combo. I gotta tell you.
What could they have done to make him look cooler, though?
They could have at least
goatee.
Yeah, I don't like the character design. First of all, they could have made him look cooler. I mean, dude, how could you say that? How could you make this look cooler? It's impossible.
Well, I mean, if you but it's like you're basing it off of the original Killer Instinct model, you know. He looks like a black Little Mac.
He doesn't look cool to me. They could. I don't know who Little Mac is, but
Little Mac, the punch out guy. Dude.
Oh, I don't know. They could have made him look cooler, and his moves don't look cool either. The jumping attack he has looks just like Balrog's jumping fierce or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, it's like really bland. And when you're really,
why it looks like
the coolest thing about the existence of TJ combo is that you saw what could be Cinder's glow on him at the end of the trailer. So the coolest thing about TJ combo is nothing. That
the coolest thing
that
about
he's
the next
able
character?
he's able to reflect light. That's the coolest thing about TJ combo. He's able to reflect light. Sweet. Fuck that character, man. That's super lame. I was really disappointed with that.
Yeah, I will say my first time playing him, was very unintuitive to me. I mean, I know it's still very early in the character design, so like I can't really hold that against him. But I mean, I did the guide and I played all the characters, so to be unintuitive to me was like scary to me because I was like, yo, like people who haven't played this character are gonna be like, what the hell is going on, And I mean, I know how the combo system is supposed to work, and I can't figure half of this out, So it was pretty scary. And then when they explained it to me, it made more sense. But that just means that people are gonna need explanation,
Man, I know what my bitch calling is for today. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going first?
I got some.
I choose? Okay. First of all, ground rules. There's
no
no reverse bitch calling allowed
today
on the show. I'm telling you right now.
Reverse
Rip.
bitch calling is coming
right
at you.
Ricky,
here they are.
Tell him. Ricky, tell him what reverse bitch callings are.
They're
just fucking shout outs. You can't just shout people out. I'm going to reverse bitch calling my mom. I love you, mom. Like, what the fuck? This is a bitch calling segment.
I would not have gotten in to play MKX for so many hours the past 2 days.
Oh my god. Are you really reverse bitch calling Paulo Garcia?
Is a reverse bitch calling.
You're a bitch.
You cannot do a
reverse bitch calling number 2.
You're a fucking
Randy
useless bitch.
Pitchford. I got to talk to Randy Pitchford after E3 ended. For those of you guys who don't know Randy Pitchford, he single-handedly saved Duke Nukem Forever from Vaporware by buying the license. He bought the license for Duke Nukem just so he could take the game that they didn't finish and publish it, right? And I got to talk to him, and like, there's a lot of backstories about this, but I'm going to just cut it out. But like, basically, he's in a lawsuit with 3D Realms because they sold the rights to someone else, and yada yada. So he fought them, he sued them, and he's like cursing at me all candidly about this shit. And then like he tells me that like they still have plans for Duke going forward. So that is awesome because I like Duke Nukem. And my third reverse bitch calling.
This is bullshit, dude. This is bullshit. You're off the show.
Whoever messaged me through my website last week, shout outs.
That's it? Really?
Man, you suck. You suck. I mean, this sucks. This is so bad. I mean, the whole point of this section is to call someone a bitch. And you just said I like 3 people. Like, hey, 3 people.
It's been a really good week, dude. I got to go to E3. Fourth reverse bitch calling. 3 games for getting me into E3 at the last second, because this was one of the E3s I thought I didn't want to go to. I was like, I didn't even apply this year. And then all of a sudden, it was like all these fighting games in there. I was like, I got to go. And not only were they just there, because like lately E3 has been like whatever, just a bunch of trailers, whatever. Mm-hmm. But no, I got hands-on time with MKX, KI, and the new Smash Bros. I got hands-on time with everything. That was ridiculous. So it's awesome.
Who did you just shout out?
Prima Games.
Oh, man, you know what? You suck. You suck. That was whack. That was so whack, so shitty. You're my bitch calling for sure.
Why?
Because you're a bitch, dude. This is ridiculous, man. You can't. Yeah, okay. If you want to shout people out, do it. That's cool. But not during the bitch calling, and don't name it a reverse bitch calling. What is that?
That's what it is, dude.
Okay, well, save that shit for whatever you do. Okay, do that shit on morning big dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, man. Ricky, who's a bitch?
Mine has to do with someone on the road again.
Okay. Yeah. Road rage, bitch calling.
But this one I win. So I was in the left lane, right? And I'm going with the flow of traffic. Right? I'm like 70 miles per hour or whatever. 30 feet ahead of me, there's another car driving about the same speed. So that's no big deal, right? So I'm not gonna drive any faster to tail him. But then there's this big ass truck behind me, tails me hard, and it's like he's probably one of those assholes, like hat backwards wearing, sublime listening motherfucker, right? Fuck that
Sublime.
I liked it. I was wondering where you'd go with that, and I like the sublime listening motherfucker. I like that. He was listening to that shit. All right.
Yeah, he was definitely. So, anyways, he's telling me hard, right? And usually I'm usually cool with that. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm merged into the right lane, but I couldn't at the time because there was a car to my right. And, obviously I'm in the left lane, so I can't merge left, or else I'm in the carpool lane. So I'm just waiting for this car to either me pass it up or him to pass me up. Then he turns on his headlights, the car behind me, and I'm like, oh, dude, come on. Seriously, I can't go anywhere. And I'm not going to speed up just for me to pass this car. So I'm waiting a little bit more, and then I finally about to pass the car on my right, and then he high beams me. And at this point, I'm like, this guy's just trying to make a power play to move me out of the way. So I'm like, nah, fuck this guy. I'm going to stay in this lane. Drive the same speed, and let's see what he does.
Brake check, man. You'll get a nice check in the mail if he hits you from behind. Boom. It's just a little whiplash. You'll live.
No. See, that's the thing, though. I don't want any problems.
So you don't want to get in a fist fight on the freeway.
Yeah. I don't need to get out of the car and see this 7-foot motherfucker.
Listening to Sublime fucking you up.
I don't need that. So what I did instead, I was gonna I'm not gonna tap my brakes. I just let go of the gas. And so I'm slowly, giving him the brake check. And then, he has to slow down.
That's such a bad idea.
Why is it such a bad idea?
Because he could just get out of the car and fuck you up.
But I wasn't going to stop. Fuck him. So anyways, because I'm not going to get out of that lane. So I'm waiting. So he eventually gives up, right? We're playing this little game of chicken. He finally gives up and goes to the right lane, right? And so he speeds up hella. And then I'm like, all right, so he's going to try to cut me off, obviously. I've seen this play before. So as soon as he goes and tries to cut me off, I go to the right lane, and then I speed up right past him, and I look back, and he's giving me the big middle finger. And when I saw that, I wanted to chop off his hand, dip that shit in gold, and put it on a trophy case.
Damn.
Because I felt like I won. That middle finger was a victory. The victory sign, dude.
He's definitely pissed.
I won.
That reminds me.
Definitely.
That reminds me of a car story that I'm gonna quickly tell. So one time it was raining, and I was trying to make a right turn out of a driveway at a gas station, and it was pouring rain. And it was one of those situations where cars are coming really quickly, so I can't quite get my car out of there, to get into regular traffic. So I saw a gap, and I just took that shit, and I went, and I kind of cut this lady off. I was like, all right, whatever. I need to get where I'm going. So I kind of cut her off, And she pulled up next to me, and then we were kind of like, traffic was slowing down. And she looked over, I looked over, and she was just giving me the stink eye. Like, you need to learn how. She's like driving like this, right? Looking over at me, like giving me, learn how to drive, motherfucker. And right when I looked at her, she hits the car in front of her. Oh, man, that was the sickest shit I've ever seen, dude. That dumb bitch was looking at me, giving me the stink eye, and she hit the car in front of her. Beautiful. Beautiful. So anyway, shout out to reverse bitch calling to that lady. You could go fuck yourself. Anyway.